back to the story. So they brought the woman, and Jesus felt so angry in his spirit, and he didn't respond. Now listen to this, and I said this on Sunday. Whenever Jesus is angry, he doesn't speak. Like I said on Sunday, words are spirit. If you cannot control your tongue, James says your life is in trouble. Oh, that's just the way I am. Is that the way you really are? Stop coming to church, because church changes you from the way you are to the way you should be. There must be progress. I'm not saying that you come and everything stops. No, God doesn't expect perfection, but God expects progress. That means last 3 years you were talking 10,000 words a day, useless words, not normal talking. Now, after 3 years, you are not talking 2,000 useless words. Can't you see you're making progress? But if you stay on the same spot, last 3 years they step on your toe, your mouth goes like a viper. Yesterday, same thing. You're making no progress. He stood in front of Pilate. Pilate said a lot of things. He didn't answer. Pilate said, I'm talking, I'm not answering. Don't you know I have power to release you? Then that was when he spoke. He says, no man can give you power except it be God. Pilate went back and said, I'm going to release that man. He came back, the people put pressure on him. Pilate came back and said, you keep talking about truth. What is truth? And Pilate went back. Pilate did everything to release him. Scripture says in Isaiah that they were leading him like sheep to the shelter, to the slaughter, but he did not open his mouth. Verbal self-control is the first sign of maturity. That's why Paul says, when I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, mature. So the first expression of childishness, according to Paul, is speech. So in this situation, Jesus is so angry, he doesn't speak. Watch it. He keeps quiet. He stoops down and writes on the dust. Now, I don't know what the dust is, but I thought man was made from the dust. Whatever he was doing, maybe he was reorganizing the woman's spirit. And they kept putting him under pressure. That's why verse 7 says they kept demanding an answer. So he stood up again and said, all right, you want an answer? He that is without sin, let him throw the first stone. Now, you can now see that a lot of times you may be more guilty than the people you're pointing fingers at. They caught her, but it doesn't indicate that it was the Pharisees that caught her. Most likely they were not the ones. But whoever caught her, let me tell you, brought her to the Pharisees, because they're the ones to execute the law. And the Pharisees now adopted the case. But they forget that when it comes to the justice, the Mosaic justice, you don't adopt cases. Because Mosaic justice says the person who was the witness, you who saw, must be the one to cast the first stone. And so when Jesus says, he that is without sin cast the first stone, it applied both ways. One, not just you without sin, but by the law of Moses, you that witnessed it, you that saw and caught. Because the reason that was to say is to make sure people don't tell lies. Which means if you do that and you did not see, it's a curse upon you and your family. It was to protect people, so you must be the first to cast the stone. So if the witness does not cast the stone, no other person can cast the stone. Now cast the stone. Nobody. Now you say she was caught in adultery. Did you see it? No. And this is the problem a lot of people enter into trouble. You put your mouth in things that you were not witnesses to. They just came and told you. You went and read on Facebook and you concluded, and you have put yourself forward and you're casting stones on people's lives on things that you did not witness. Lord, have mercy upon this generation. I asked one time, I said, if God, someone went online, and you know how people have issues, they just go on the internet and spew rubbish. Talk. So this lady went and spoke. It was a relationship that went bad. And then this other daughter of mine, she was there supporting it. Yes, tell them. She was supporting, she was making comments. Don't mind all these useless men. So I called her. I said, are you the one? Two of them. The first one, I straightened her. The second one, I said, were you the one making those comments? Oh yes. Yeah, Daddy. I said, okay. Were you there? Oh no, nah. She cannot be lying. I said, wait. Then I asked her a question. If you were to appear in front of God and he says, proof the comment you made, what would you say? I said, okay, let me help you. Script. Have you heard the version of the other person? You know, well, she's a sister and she cannot be lying. I said, have you heard the version of the other person? I said, do you know the verse in Proverbs that says, when two people have an issue, the first one that comes always seems right until the other person comes to the other version. Have you ever seen that verse? I handled her that day. She apologized, went and deleted her comment. I said, because at times we put our mouths in things that we cannot justify before God. And we think that we know. Be careful in human matters. He says, he that is